Hi, I'm Kevin Farrell from Prius Healthcare and Moxie Enterprises. And today I'm going to do an in-service video on the Prius Century Gold, one of our newest products that we brought here into the marketplace in 2025. The Prius Century Gold delivers alternating pressure. It also delivers on-demand low air loss. It has built-in air bolsters, and it stays inflated during a power outage. So I'm going to go through all the features. We'll look at the control panel and hopefully answer any questions you may have if you have a Century Gold. All right, let's talk about setup for the Century Gold. So you're going to receive the Century Gold in two boxes. One box is going to be for the pump. The other will be for the mattress. We'll talk about mattress setup first. So have your home care or whatever type of frame you have ready. Obviously nothing on the deck. And you're going to bring your mattress on. You want to make sure that the bottom cover, which is the black Cordura material, is on the bottom, of course. Heavy duty polyester, 600 denier. It's PVC lined so that you don't have any ingress of fluids into it. So then you're going to go ahead and roll your mattress out, place it on the bed frame. Okay. And then, very important, you want to make sure that you secure the air mattress down to the frame of the deck. We have D-ring straps. With these D-ring straps, you want to make sure that you have it to the movable part of the frame. There's two at the foot, two on the side, two on the patient right-hand side, and then two at the head end. So 8 total straps. Make sure, again, that it's secured to the movable part of the deck so that as you move the head of the bed up, it won't get caught if it's on the non-movable part. Um, and that's how you'll set up the mattress. Once the mattress has been secured to the bed frame, next is connected to the pump. So on the pump, we have spring-loaded hooks. So you're able to affix this to a foot cord, okay, like such. And then with the plug, we're lucky here on the AI1 frame, we're able to plug it right into the end of the bed. Once that's plugged in, next what you're going to want to do is connect the mattress connector. So it's got a little bevel on the bottom. With this, it's a two-step click, kind of like our salutes, if you're familiar with that. So click once, twice. Now it's secured. And with that, just turn on the power button and the mattress starts up. As I did show you, I plugged this into the end of the AI1 bed frame. However, if you don't have a plug on on the foot end of your bed, you can run the cord up through what's called our cable management system. A series of fabric loops that'll keep the cord up off the ground, prevents a tripping hazard for the caregivers and for the patient. It'll run all the way up to the head, so you can plug it into the head wall. So when you first turn on the Century Gold using the power button here on the control panel, it's going to start in the auto firm mode. So there's a 30-liter compressor inside the Century Gold, the most powerful compressor of any of our compressor models we've ever done. And it'll rapidly inflate the mattress somewhere between usually 10 or 15 minutes. The whole control panel will blink, as you can see. And once it's done with that initialization phase and the mattress is inflated, then it'll start on a level of 3. So yeah, it defaults to a level of 3. And in order to set the correct amount of pressure, as we've said in many of our other videos, we recommend the hand check method, where you put your hand in perpendicular to the ground. If the patient's bottom feels heavy on your hand, increase the amount of air in the mattress. If you can't feel the patient's body at all, you want to decrease it. If that doesn't work, we also have a general weight guideline that we'll post on our website, so you can see that as well. But that's generally how you set the amount of pressure. And then on the control panel, there's a plus and minus. It goes from 1 all the way up to 8. And that's how you set the pressure, 1. Okay, now let's talk about the therapy of the Century Gold. At the default point, after the autofirm has gone through and you're on that setting of 3, it's also going to default to static. In static, that means all of the air cells have the same amount of pressure. You're getting the benefit of immersion in static, But if you do have existing wounds, normally we recommend moving to the alternate button. So when I hit that button here on the Sentry Gold, it's a 2-in-1 alternation. So every other air cell is going to deflate. And you can do that for a time of um, 10, 15, 20, or 30 minutes. And what that means is, let's call them the A cells. So cells 1, 3, 5, so on and so forth down to the bottom. Uh, if we do a setting of 10, that means for 10 minutes, the A cell is going to be without air. And then 10 minutes later, then the B cells will drop without air. And it'll keep doing that in perpetuity. And that's how you get the alternating pressure, which, as you've heard probably from my other videos, brings reactive hyperemia, increases that blood flow, encourages that blood flow. And that's how you get optimal healing on a therapy system like this. Another therapy that we have here on the Sentry Gold is on-demand low air loss. So when I engage the LAL button, that turns on the on-demand low air loss. We have a series of special tubes here that run in the center of the mattress, providing that true low air loss in the sacral area, which is the most important place for the low air loss to go. And it'll deliver it in 60-second increments. And it'll keep going, whether you're in alternating pressure, whether you're in static, you're able to deliver that on-demand low air loss. When the head of the bed is raised, the patient is in what's known as the Fowler position. Once that happens, their vector of force, the amount of force, especially in their midsection, gets stronger. They're more likely to sink in. So on the Sentry Gold, we have a Fowler button. When you engage that Fowler button, it's going to increase the amount of air in the mattress so that the patient will be sitting up more and they won't have that chance of bottoming out that they could when they're in this Fowler position. Another unique feature of the Century Gold that I spoke of in the very beginning of this video is that it does not deflate during a power outage. So if the power does go out, because it's a solenoid-driven system, those solenoid valves are closed and it keeps air inside the mattress indefinitely. And so you have plenty of time to rectify the power failure and then get the mattress back turned on. But again, it'll keep and hold air until that power failure is solved. Now, the only way to let the air out of the mattress is through the CPR valve at the head end. Obviously, the CPR valve is also very important. If you're in a facility and they need to do CPR and chest compressions, you just turn this dial and that'll open up that CPR. Another terrific feature of the Century Gold are the air bolsters that are built right into the system. And in the center, you have an egress cutout that if you have the side rail turned off, this will be there will be no air in there. Makes it real easy to ingress and egress out of it. Once the patient's back in bed, if you want to go ahead and turn on that side rail or in the up position, this will inflate and you'll have that air bolster protecting on both sides for fall prevention. The final two features on the control panel. One is the auto lock. So after 2 minutes, the lock light will come on, and that means when you try to push the controls, nothing nothing will happen. So that's designed to protect the patient. If the caregiver has set the proper settings on there, you don't want somebody knocking into it, or maybe little kids or something messing around with the controls. So this will auto lock. What you need to do to turn the auto lock off is push and hold for about 3 to 5 seconds, and then that'll turn that auto lock off, and you're able to alter the controls if you need to. The final button that we have here on the control panel that we haven't discussed is the mute. So with the mute, if you do have an alarm, whether it's a power failure, whether it is a low pressure event, or for system failure, as you'll see written on there, that's if there's an issue with the air bolsters. And if that alarm does go off, it will audibly beep and it will also blink. You can mute that beep while you try to troubleshoot what the issue might be. And then once you're done and you figured out, you can go ahead and then unmute that alarm as everything resumes to normal operation. Thank you for watching this in-service video on the Prius Century Gold. If you have any questions, please feel free to call the number below, 813-854-5464. Hit extension 2 if you have product-specific questions you'd like answered. That'll go to our sales department. Any of us are trained on being able to talk you through any product questions you may have. If you have service issues or anything's wrong with the unit, dial the same number, but hit extension 3 to talk to one of the members of our service department who'll be happy to help you. Thanks again for watching this video. Take care.